Hi guys, how you doing today? This is D Durrell with D Durrell Life Solutions. I appreciate each and every one of you once again for being here and conversing with me and dialogue. Again, guys, I'd like you all to definitely subscribe and share to D Durrell Life Solutions. Also subscribe to D Durrell The Rebirth. Today, I'm going to go all in and talking about the pressures of being the oldest child in a black family. I think this is something that needs to be talked about and discussed. You all know that I have geared a lot of my content on the black family, the dynamics of the black family. I have decided to make that the foundation of my platform as I talk about other things. But I'm going to do most of my content focusing on the black family. And what I want to talk about is that sometimes the oldest child, and I'm going to talk about it from a male perspective and from a female perspective. Also, I'm going to talk about it as I have viewed it within people that I know, anecdotal experience. Myself, I was the second to last child. I also viewed the way the oldest was viewed from my mom's siblings, my dad's siblings, and others. And in most situations, the oldest child is held, and I know a lot of parents don't want to believe this, but the oldest child is not held to the same standards as the other children. The oldest child, male or female, is held to a much higher standard because the older child is looked upon as the example for the rest of the children. The older child also, once they become a teenager and so forth, are giving some level of adult responsibility that they should not have. The oldest child is probably going to be the child where the most mistakes are made because that's the first time you are raising a child. I know, particularly when I talked to my oldest daughter, she alluded to me that she felt some things in which we treated her differently in certain ways than we treated my youngest daughter and my son. And she felt that the parenting that we applied to her was different, and she felt like the parenting was a lot better for them. And I agree with her because we were being parents for the first time. It's not that we were not bad parents. It's just that through time we became better parents. And to me, if any black man and black woman that has children, married, is listening to this, I want you to understand that you, and by any means, you should not feel embarrassed or down on yourself for anything you've done for your child because you meant well and you did the best that you could. There's no way in hell when I had my child at 20 years old that I was just as good of a parent at 20 years old that I am at 43. No, I was not. I was nowhere near the parent I am now that I was, then that I am now. Number one, at 20 years old, I really was not financially ready to have a child. Okay? At 20 years old, I was working part-time and I probably was making anywhere between probably $12,000 to $15,000 a year working part-time while going to school. Now I graduated the following year. Actually 2 years. I graduated 2 years after my child was born. In 97, 98, and 99, I was making $12,000 to $15,000 a year, if that. Now I was given money. I gave money for things and so forth. We were codependent on our parents who helped us. In 99, before I graduated, and me and my wife moved in with each other, we took our daughter in and we took care of our child. My wife worked full time and I worked part time. Until I graduated. That's basically how it worked. It's basically how it worked. Now, I'm saying this for a reason. I want us to understand that my you're going to delegate differently for your children because of that child being the oldest. How many times have parents told, make sure that your little brother and sister are up for school, make sure you help them get this, or when you're away, you're calling the oldest to make sure everybody else is in line, that they don't break the rules. You tell the oldest is the first to learn to drive, the first to wash the dishes, the first to sweep, do chores, and it sets the stage for how the other children are going to function in the family. Now, for black families, particularly those that are growing up in single parent household, as a male, and I've talked about this in previous videos, you could be seen as being a pseudo boyfriend or pseudo father, and brother, all in one, in which a lot of those boys, young men grow up thinking that they have to be financially responsible for their family, and that's a pathway to criminality. In their relationship, the mother tells him he needs to get a job by the time he's 16. Not has been an option. You have to get a job, or and depending on how urban and how ghetto that person may be, sell weed, sell drugs, or do whatever else in the street to make money. And it's okay by her, particularly if she's about that type of life. That's just facts. For the females, the women, they have older females, they domesticate their daughters to learn how to cook, to clean, and manage the household, and do it for me. How many of you all have watched one of the best examples of when I watched The Chi? The Chi had a situation in which there was an obese teenager that was dating one of the kids that was a son of a pastor. She missed school to basically babysit her 4 or 5 sisters and brothers. She didn't even go to school all the time because her mother would make her stay home to keep kids if she had to work, and she couldn't afford a daycare. She basically was a surrogate mother to her younger siblings. That was her responsibility to cook, clean, wash clothes, change Pampers, do everything the mother couldn't do while she was working or out in the streets doing God's work. Who knows what? I have visually seen this for myself with my own eyes in my community growing up in rural Louisiana, central Louisiana, and seeing it even more in urban communities and doing contractual work in the field. When it comes to the boys, there's 2 different things that are looked upon. The oldest boy, the oldest son, the oldest child as a son is going to look at things from more of a financial, safety, emotional tied to the mother, disciplinary to the children that are younger than him. The oldest daughter, the oldest child as a daughter is going to look at things from a perspective of being more of a nurturer than her mother. Cooking, cleaning, nurturing, organizing things, to the point where her education can be seen as being secondary, and the same for the boys. There are many parents who put this type of adult pressure on children, and we wonder why in our community there's a level of low level of self-development when you look at our kids once they graduate out of high school and go into the real world, if they can make it that far. It's because when we look at the social development of our children, I hate to say this, but there are a lot of black parents that use their children as a tool to make life better for the parent instead of doing things to make life better for the children. And that's the God honest truth. There are parents who are using their older children, male or female, to be a tool to make life easier for them, instead of as a parent busting your ass to make sure that you are making a life better for them. And so now you have a lack of educational, psychological development, social development, and they go out into the world ill-equipped to deal with children who just had to focus on education, cleaning up their room, and making and following household rules. It's a difference. But that's what our community is faced with. That's what our community has to deal with. That what separates us. That has put us in a position where we're constantly developing adults who are ill-equipped to be successful. And I'm saying this so that we can think about this, and I want to hear the comments from you all that are listening, because this is something that needs to be talked about. Our kids, it is not our kids' responsibility to help you as a parent. That's my responsibility as a parent to make sure that my child does not have to worry about doing adult things. And that's why when these kids do adult things, they think that they can act in full-fledged be an adult. That's why in the 80s, the 90s, early 2000s, our teen pregnancy rate was so high. Now it went down. It's down now. The reason why it's down now is because of technology. Because kids are more social on devices instead of seeing each other one-on-one. So back in the day, you had to see people face-to-face. The telephone was not enough. You wanted to see people. Now, you can see someone an hour away, 30 minutes away. It's not a big deal to see them face-to-face because you're constantly interacting with them. The advent of social media and devices and having these apps has actually caused a decline in sexual interaction. Now they're sending more pictures and God knows what instead of actually having sexual intercourse. These are facts. So guys, tell me what you think about the video. This is D. Durrell with D. Durrell Life Solutions. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned a lot from it. If you agree or disagree, I definitely would like to hear what you stated about it. I'm just having this conversation because this conversation needs to be brought out in our community. Because these are issues I deal with on a day-to-day basis in my farm or line of work. So, with that being said, guys, I have a great day. Peace.